and welcome to the Black Tower. I am your host, your guide, your brother, the Sorcerer Monasul. Alright, this is going to be my introduction to the Black Tower. Probably should have been the very first video, however it was not. I've had a lot of things I've been working on, a lot of things I've been doing. Alright, I wanted to make this video because I wanted to give everybody an idea of what this channel is about, of what it really is about. I'm a sorcerer. I use the Black Tower to represent the center of myself. Whether you live in a basement, whether your altar is set up in your bedroom, whether it's in your living room, whether you have your own home, you're living with somebody, whatever. Wherever your sacred place is that you do rites, rituals, works, and so forth and so on, is your Black Tower. Alright, so in this one, my home is the Black Tower. Because in my house, magic abounds. Alright. With that in mind, then let's get on with what I wanted to actually discuss. What is a sorcerer? A sorcerer is someone who makes the rules that they govern themselves by. The rules, the laws by which they are governed, by which their world is governed by. Kind of imagine it like this right here. You have the laws of the land. You know, that's the police, the feds, so forth and so on. Okay? This is their laws. This is the law of the world itself. Okay? However, a sorcerer has his own rules, his own laws. Now, they do not go against the laws of the rules of the outside world in a conventional going against, standing up against the man and all that, but in a sense of who you are, of what you want to be, of how you profess yourself to be, of what it is that you are. All right? So in sorcery, that's what we do. All right? So, like, you know, I'm the sorcerer Monasul. I use the Necronomicon by Simon as a way of achieving gnosis, of achieving that's funny, of achieving my own authority, my own rule, my own power, if you will. I use it as a way of transforming, of transmuting, of changing, of becoming, you know. And in that sense, you know, when I first picked up the book and I began reading it, I didn't understand all this. Now, I had to study into a lot of things to kind of get an idea of how to work it. But after I did, I realized that my initial feelings and pullings of that the book was much more than just a guidebook on rites and rituals and how to worship the gods, but that it may be a guide of how to become so-called God, or whatever you want to call it, some great divine power. Ooh, let's all get scary. Put on your demon face. Put on your demon face. All right. Well, you know, with that being said, you know, a lot of the lessons that I teach, a lot of the lessons that I show, now they come directly from the book. But as I go further in, what I do is I start to change it. I start to shape it and shift it so that you can see the mysteries behind the works, behind the workings themselves of what they're actually for, so forth and so on. And, you know, these are things that I've used myself. I have symbols I use, particular methods, seals, sigils, symbols, things like that are not in the book. The reason why is because I needed a found idea about the book itself first and its workings and how to do it before I could figure out how to harness it, how to make it my own, how to become my own God, my own angel daemon, my higher and lower self-made one. Omnia Centunum, all things are one. And which, interestingly enough, is my magical motto. Now, I studied and practiced ceremonial magic and going through the grades. I didn't belong to any orders, any groups, anything like that. Belonged to certain Yahoo groups, some Facebook groups, so forth and so on, exchanging knowledge, information, so forth and so on, practices, techniques, the whole 9 yards, which anybody out there that's a solitary practitioner can relate, can understand what I did, because you probably do the same thing in your own way. It's not enough to follow what somebody else says and what somebody else does. You have to surpass them, okay? You have to take what they're teaching, see it, find out if it's viable for you, see if it works for you. And if it does, keep it. But see, then you have to make the magic your own. You've got to reword it. You've got to redirect it to where you connect with it, where you click with it. And when this happens, that's when true magic happens. Because see, in this world we live in a cookie cutter world where everybody's like, oh, I got a book on this and I got a book on that, and it's like, okay, you can do it like that. It's kind of like the Goetia where you're supposed to do this a certain way and so forth and so on. Well, yeah, if you're a beginner, I would suggest doing that. However, the more seasoned you become in any magical art, you start to learn tricks and tips and shortcuts that you can take. Now, shortcuts don't mean to pull the lazy part. It just means that it's your particular way of doing it, which is at the heart of what magic honestly is. Whether you call yourself a magician, whether you call yourself a witch, whether you call yourself a sorcerer, an adept, whether you call yourself an angel or you call yourself a daemon, it doesn't matter what you call yourself. Yeah, you are calling yourself something because you click with it, because you vibrate to it, because you connect with it and it connects with you. It was the open door. Now, years ago, I was really, really lucky to be part of online groups such as Temple of the Vampire, some of Michael W. Ford's very earliest stuff back when he was, sharing his stuff online, free with groups before Order of Phosphorus. And then the Order of Phosphorus came up, and I didn't get involved in that, but I studied and communicated and so forth and so on. Never wanted to be famous. I wasn't trying to go for notoriety. At the time, though, an interesting note: names. What you call yourself, magical names. At the time, I called myself Black Plague 777 because 777 to me represented a notch above the 666. So I was a beast of another sort than 666. I was my own beast, a beast of my own making. And anybody who knows anything about numerology and Kabbalah, go look up 777. Find out what it is. It's more than just a book by Aleister Crowley on numerology and its meanings and so forth. Check it out for yourself, In ceremonial magic, once again, I was self-taught and, relied on a lot of advice from actual practitioners and members of certain orders and groups, that were kind enough to help me, and in that spirit, that's what I achieved to do here at the Black Tower, is to share my knowledge, my advice, my, thoughts on it. I don't say that my truth is the only truth. There are many truths. Truth is a lie. And here's what I mean by that. Truth, there is no such thing as a singular truth. Truth has so many faces, it's not even funny, and therefore it is called a lie. And when you refer to yourself as somebody who is knowledgeable of the many truths, you are a child of the lie. Tell me that ain't cool as shit, right? So, and in that aspect, I ventured down a left-hand path, and I was like, oh, hell yeah. Well, of course, the younger me thought it was all about playing with demons and getting to know them and everything else and, getting what you wanted. Well, after a while, I went to realizing something. These are very powerful transformational beings, But they were never the scary boogeyman in your closet underneath your bed trying to scare the shit out of you. Although I have had some pretty weird experiences and some pretty scary, hair-raising shit happen to me. I'm sure everybody has. But, as I progressed, I realized that these beings, oh man, dude, there is something to the way they teach, to the way they show. And I kept changing with them. And eventually, I quit thinking of myself as Black Plague because, when you're thinking of Black Plague, you're thinking about, the bubonic plague. It killed thousands, millions, I think, something like that. It killed a lot of people. And the bubonic plague was known as the Black Plague. And so, hey, what better way, Kill them with the truth, and the truth is a lie. So you kind of get where I was coming from with that. And that was how I came up with my first left-hand path name. Now, I have had many magical names since then, before then, after then, now. But I go by the Sorcerer on a Stool, and here's why. That was quite a few years back when the book first came out. The wife had bought a book called Luciferian Witchcraft by Michael W. Ford. And she got it, and I didn't pay it no attention. I didn't think a thing about it. I was like, okay, so you got a book. Cool. It had Lucifer in its title. That was right down her alley. It didn't even take her a week to tell me, hey, babe, you need to check out this book. You need to read this. I think this is right down your alley. Man, I got to say, hell yeah, it was. was eye-opening. It was transformational. Hell, it was like breaking through the barriers of my mind. Finally, I had something I could work with. Something showed itself to be like, oh, finally, where you feel like you're static and like nothing's changing and like there's no new challenges to overcome, like there's no new this, no new that. Hell, I find it. Well, I worked all the way through that book from front to back. I think I got all the way back to the book on sex magic, Adamu, I think it's called, or something like that. Forgive me if I said that wrong. And my favoriteest thing was the book of Azide Haka and Armin, and talking about ensorceling the shadow and so forth and so on. Now, mind you, I had already done the rite of Cain of becoming, being transformed into fire, set upon the anvil. Because it's always important to have a really nice suit of armor. And the whole process is about creating an armor. But with Cain, you learn to arm yourself with knowledge, dark knowledge. Truth that nobody wants to face, that nobody wants to even think about. Did I think of myself as a Canaanite? Hell no. Did I think of myself as, a fan of Cain instead of Abel? Hell no. Because by this time I had already worked through all the parts concerning religion. I no longer clung to them. I denounced connections of it. To see, as a sorcerer, you have to redefine your beliefs. You have to redefine the words you use. You have to redefine the words you call yourself, the language you use, your alphabet, your magical alphabet, so forth and so on. It's part of being a sorcerer, is being your own kind. Anyway, so I went to working with Armin. Holy shit cakes, man. I had a shit ton of fun. My life went to motherfucking hell in a handbag. Fucking became homeless. Lost everything. Oh, it was fucking awful. Shit just went to shit. And, and mind you, I'd been practicing this book for about 2.5 years, working this, and I was transforming, changing, my way of thinking, of looking at things was completely altering. All of a sudden, my life went to shit. Lost my home. Oh my goodness, all the plans that I had set up through using the techniques of how to take control of my life and how to change it and everything else completely swept out underneath the rug. Every bit of money I had saved up to take on these new ventures was now spent in trying to keep a roof over my wife and mine's head, keep food on the table, stuff like that. We had to live with a few people. Finally, shit got straightened out, and we got her home, and I'll never forget. We moved into a piece of shit apartment. But man, I tell you what, that thing with the Taj Mahal, better than living with anybody. Now, it took about a year settling in. Within the first 6 to 8 months, I was scared to death to do a motherfucking thing. I mean, deathly afraid. Because I was like, wow, if that shit takes everything away from you, fuck if I want to fool with that. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I misunderstood something. Maybe something. Well, you know what? You know how in magic they tell you that, oh, it can cause this and it can cause that? Let me tell you something. I'll tell you something else that can fuck your shit up. People can fuck your shit up. You can think that a spirit or a demon or forces or powers or curses or whatever are destroying your life. It's not. It is the works of people. People made me and my wife lose our home. People got the sheriff's department to come out and say we hadn't paid our rent. And we're like, holy shit, hold up. Yes, we have. And for some reason, my rent receipt had come up missing. Somebody had stole it. I knew exactly who stole it. Not only did they steal the rent receipt, but they had stolen our money for like 3 months. And this is how this all happened. Well, after about 1.5 years, 2 years, something like that, I didn't touch magic at all. Because it took me a while to find my balance again. Oh man, when they talk about the dark night of the soul, it's where you start to question your own beliefs, your own practices, your own ways of living. It's where you face your inner demons. It's where you face your outer demons. It's where you make reconciliation with the angel and the demon. Now, let me explain that a little bit better. The angel and the demon, the angel, everybody's, oh, that's your higher self. The demon is the lower self and all this other shit. Yeah, well, thanks to the rite of Azalacel, I learned something. And I thank you, Mr. Michael Davey, for it from the bottom of my little dark, little sorcerer heart. Thank you. The angel and the demon, they are one. They are one and the same. It changes its face as it is needed. And so must you. As a sorcerer, that is what you must do. You must make those opposing forces one inside the being of yourself and change faces as necessary. Be the angel, kind-hearted, giving, friendly, outgoing. But do not forget to put on your horns, to put on the face of the deceiver, the destroyer, and destroy your enemies. Because people who fuck with you, who just want to destroy your fucking life for no fucking reason, I like the way Aleister Crowley put it. Mercy be oft. And that shaped me. 4 years into it, I had started back into my ceremonial practice. Now, I hadn't quite stuck with the left-hand path. I kind of like, okay, I'm going back to the basics of ceremonial magic. Find out where on the spheres I messed up, see what I did. What I didn't know was that I was going to go down a very dark path. A very dark path. I lost faith in everything. I lost faith in myself. I lost faith in the gods. I lost faith in the powers. I lost faith in humanity and in life. And it wasn't until one night when I wanted to kill myself, and I thought, no, man, hell no, Waylon, there is no way in the hell, dude. What the fuck, where's this coming from? And that's when it dawned on me. I hadn't faced what happened. I hadn't accepted the fact that sometimes it's not powers, sometimes it's not forces, sometimes it's not what you do, sometimes it's just cruel, stupid, mean, belligerent, malignant pieces of flesh walking around on two legs calling themselves humans that cause more damage, that cause more harm than any invisible power going by the title demon. And with that in mind, you have to remember, you're not here to just work on the spiritual. You're here to work on the physical as well. You know, maybe, hopefully, if you're lucky, you don't know the kind of people I'm talking about. But if you ever do, I'm not saying wash your hands. I'm not saying turn the other motherfucker cheek. You can do whatever the hell you want to. But me, I'll watch them. And I pay attention. And at the slightest sign of provocation, I remove them. I remove them magically. I remove them out of my mind. I remove them out of my existence. And I fucking bar the way. I close the doors. If more is required because they seem to be consistently persistent with their stupidity, because as Praetor Xavier likes to say on Mind and Magic, that which resists persists. Well, if it resists and it persists, so do I. Me too. That ain't being polarized. That's just saying. Me too. I am just as hard-headed as anyone else out there. And they want to be cruel and they want to be mean. I will teach you the meaning of cruelty. And that's the way you have to be, because you have to stand up for yourself. Don't go out there and do something stupid. Don't shoot somebody or stab somebody or poison them or whatever. Don't stoop to their level. Beat them at their own game. Make sure the right people that you have the right people's ears, that they're listening to you, not to them. And reweave the story that is going to be your life and your fate. This is what being a sorcerer is. See, in magic, everybody likes to think, oh, I took 30 minutes to an hour out of my time to do a ritual or rite because I want to bring prosperity. That's fun. That's wonderful. I love doing that. Hell, I do that too. But magic is about changing your point of view. It's about changing the world around you. As you change the inner world, the universe has no option, no choice, but to mimic the change inside you. So if you're all ordered and put together and holding the chaos in order, guess what? The universe, like a mirror, reflects perfectly these same truths that you've created within your psyche, within your spiritual makeup, within your magical world. And it in turn creates the world around you. That's why they say work on the inner you before you work on the outer you or whatever. Because when you change the you You change the world of you around you. And this is one of the secrets of magic. This is one of the secrets of sorcery. And it's a fine balance. It's irritating at times. It's painful. Sometimes something doesn't seem to fucking work and you can't figure out why. Oh, is it because I didn't use the right magic word, or I didn't call upon the right power, or I didn't give it enough English or something. You know what? Some things in life, there are no conscious answers of, but you have to keep on. You can't stop. You have to keep doing it. You have to keep working it. You have to keep tweaking it, fine-tuning it, till it fits you, till it clicks with you, till magic is autonomous, till it's just automatic. That's why I talk a lot about reprogramming the subconscious. Because when you reprogram the subconscious, what happens is that it's in free float. It's like the operating system on a computer. It just keeps running in the background, making everything run smoothly. And that's what you need it to do. And so through use the Simon Necronomicon with the elder gods, you're learning the consciousness of how to shape the higher dimensions and realms. And then through delving into the Igigi and the planes of the Black Earth, you're learning to set the board for real. And that is where we're going in my lessons and in my videos and so forth and so on. Like I said, this video may be a little bit late, but I wanted to put this out there so that you understand. I'm not going to be just spitting out the same shit that you could just pick up the book and get. But I'm going to try my best to work it out for you, to explain it, to show it to you. You have any questions, any comments, anything, post. Hell, I'll answer back. I don't care how ridiculous it is. I'm going to do the best I can. You know, because that's what we're all supposed to be here for. Those of us who truly sought that we live in a gray world, neither white nor black, right nor wrong, good nor evil. Well, hell no. And I am a being of my own making, as you should be. You can take the lessons I'm teaching and run with it. If you vibrate, if it's connect, you know, if you feel drawn to the Necronomicon and you want to use it for this, man, that's what I'm fucking here for. If it's not your cup of tea, hell with it. Go about your way. Do what you want to do. Do it how you want to do it. Do it how you need to do it. Because in magic, there is no such thing as one way, one method, one simple thing. It is not cookie cutter at all. I can show you the general idea, but you're going to have to figure it out for yourself. You're going to have to find out what makes it come alive for you. Because just to say a name or vibrate some words of power ain't going to do it. It is not going to cut it. If you cannot feel the connection inside yourself of what it resonates to, of what it represents, of what it belongs to, the power, the force it represents, it's just not going to work for you. You've got to find out what makes it work for you, you know. It's like, I like orange juice, you like apple juice. Okay, well, that's kind of what this is like, okay? But even though we may share, you know, opposites and juices that we like, doesn't mean we're not on board of the same track of its fruit. Okay? And let's remember that because, you know, there is a seed that connects all things. From that seed is a divine gnosis. Neither black nor white, just fucking is. And it created the tree. And the tree's roots run deep. And the tree's limbs stretch skyward. But you are that tree. And when you realize that you are those powers, you are those beings, they not only exist inside and outside of you at the exact same time, but they're accessible through you, that you're the gate. Oh man, dost thou not know thou art a god? Damn right I do. Every man and every woman is a star. Motherfucking right I am. I fucking zoomed through the damn universe, man, rocking and rolling, setting this shit on fucking fire. Speaking of fire, think about the first spark. You know, Cain's hammer laid down upon the hot metal, the sparks that flew from it. You know, as fire was taught to man, as man learned to harness and use fire, so must you. And in so doing, you will sculpt and shape yourself into something so fucking different from anybody else. Never try to be somebody else. Be you. Be the real you. Be the real yous. Because that's pretty much what it all comes down to. We have so many faces, but all those faces, if put together, would be the true face. And that, at the heart of sorcery, is what it's all about. Finding your power. Finding your connection to it. And tapping into it and changing it. I wish each and every single one of you peace and blessings. I hope that my videos are informative, teaching, and hilarious as hell. Because I'll be damned if I want to sit there being bored off my ass at somebody's videos. I like being serious. I'm a very serious guy. But at the same time, dude, you got to break it down humorous, because sometimes you just got to laugh. Too serious, and you're going to miss the ride. You're going to miss the pleasure and the joy of the experience of the journey itself. It is not just the end goal that you should be focused on. To know your goal, to know what it is that you want, that is a beautiful thing. But you have to sit back and enjoy the ride. Watch the scenery, check and see where you're going. What have you passed? What's passing by you? What's, and this is an experience, and this is a magical journey, as they say. And with that, I wish each and every single one of you peace and blessings from the Black Tower. I am your brother. I am the Sorcerer Arm on a Soul.